One thing you should know is where your neighbors are. You should know if your neighbors are living alone.
Right.
Get to know your neighbors. Check on them. Make sure they're okay. The other thing is that at that birthday party that all those kids were at, the parents didn't panic. And the kids feed off of what the parents are doing. So if you panic, the kids are going to panic. So you got to keep your calm and your cool and allow, you know, your kids to see that it is going to be okay.
Behind you?
I just wanted to mention, too, that I believe the earthquake that we had recently was about 30 seconds long. And I'm from LA and been through pretty much all the major earthquakes from '71 on. And it's also the strength of the quake is important, but also the duration of how long it shakes makes a big difference too, because this didn't last long. The one in North Hollywood back in '94, whenever that was, went for 1.5 minutes at its peak. You know, so that's why everything was level. I mean, it was incredible. And so that's also something to take in consideration as you're going through the earthquake. Think about, wow, there's going to be a lot of damage if this goes on much longer. So if you're just standing there like deer in the headlights, you know, trying to figure out what to do, before you know it, this one was over. Before I think people really have a chance to go, wow, what's going on? But in that thing where the duration is 1.5 minutes at that magnitude, there's a lot of damage going on.
And you never know how long it's going to be until it's over.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why the drop covering and holding, just doing it, just do it. It feels in a way when you're in it like an eternity, but it wasn't. Yes. Yes.
Most of the earthquakes have aftershocks, and you need to be prepared. If you're thinking about going somewhere else, you need to think about, okay, during that period of time where I'm coming from here under this desk to wherever, you need to think about if another earthquake happens, what you're going to do to get there safely.
Okay, good point. She was talking about aftershocks, and we had aftershocks. I didn't feel any of our 20-some aftershocks. I know a lot of people did. I just didn't. So let's, you know, but let's move this a little bit forward. Okay, so a couple of things that happened after this one. Besides our communication systems being down in many areas, some areas being completely cut off because of electricity, we also noticed that there were a lot of folks who were trying to get into the stores that had generators or stores that had their electricity going and stock up on water, stock up on batteries, stock up on flashlights, stock up on canned foods. What does it tell you?
They're not prepared.
Does it? Well, so now they are. Let's hope. Okay. So make sure you have those basics. Okay. Make sure you have those water, the canned foods. If you have children in diapers, get yourself some extra diapers. If you can't afford to do that, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that is understandable. Start squirreling away a little bit of money hither and thither so that you can get those extras. And if you have a neighbor who is living paycheck to paycheck, then have a little bit extra so that you can share. Because we never know how long this is going to last.
One of the things that I noticed was kind of an interesting thing was food. It seems like a lot of people came to McKinleyville, to McDonald's, from Arcata and Eureka, because it was about the first area that there was open fast food. Interestingly enough, apparently the fiber optic cable or something was down because there were no credit cards being accepted. Everything was cash only. So that was a little bit of advice, was to hold on to a little bit of cash.
Hold on to a little bit of cash, okay? You know, sometimes that makes people go, right, cash, like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. You know? But save your coins. I mean, it's not always something you can do, but it's something you should do if you can. Because yes, a lot of them, the credit cards weren't working. Actually, that was a piece I didn't know. Thank you very much. So what else? What else do we need to know?
We were talking about storing the water, and my partner said we'll get water out of the hot water heater. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but why? If you can store water, I would, I'd have water stored. And then if the event happened for a long time, then I might have to do that. But what I have is a couple of Coleman, I think they're Coleman, the big 5-gallon jugs that I just fill up. And then about every 3 months, I empty them out into the garden and then refill them again. I also have water in my car. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So yes, that is emergency water, but frankly, that's a little complicated to do that, and so I would suggest storing water. Yes, yes. Anything else before I continue? Yes.
Put your candles in the sink in case an aftershock knocks them over, because it's less likely to cause a fire.
That is in the sink, definitely away from anything flammable. Be aware of where those candles are. And that goes for any time during the day, any time. Earthquake response or not. I can't tell you the number of fires that we've responded to, and the reason the fires happened was someone fell asleep with the candle burning and it set the curtains aglow, and then set the place aglow. That happens. So being aware of where your candles are. Being aware of where things are in your house. Think about your bed. Okay, think about what's over your bed. If there is something that could potentially fall down on you, like a picture that's just held up with one nail, remove that thing. I know it looks pretty, but you do not want that falling on your head. Make sure that your bookcases are braced to the walls and other heavy objects. And if you have some precious breakables, there's putty that you can get that you can secure them to the shelving. In a very, very huge one that happens right under your house, it may not save them. But in this, it would have. Somebody else have something over there? No? Okay. So, yes?
A lot of people have pets, so you need to have a way for them to evacuate to or
Right.
be safe as well.
Right, right. People were talking about, I have a couple of friends who have cats. And apparently, and they were in the house, and after the thing was over, and my friends opened the door, the cats just split. And they sat in the yard, and they looked back at the house, and they would not come in the house. But also with your pets, and eventually we're going to be talking more about emergency supplies, having extra pet food. Knowing where the leash is, if you have a dog, just in case you have to be going somewhere with that dog. If your dog has to have medicines, making sure that you have some medicines. Extra water. If you've got a lot of pets, you're thinking about yourself, but you also need to think about your pets and what it is that they need. Very important. Anything else, Burden? Yes.
How good is the water? I've bought water and stored it before. And someone said that it's only good after a while, then you have to dump it. And
I do that, but I just get the water out of my tap too. I figure that's good enough water. I dump mine after 3 months.
yeah, I don't have any. What about the sealed ones? Like the gallon crystal guys?
I would recycle them once a year. And that's just off the top of my head. And then just get some more. You can go to the dollar store or someplace like that and get some. And just use them again. Even if you don't drink it, put it in your garden or water your plants or something like that.
I think those come with an expiration date on them, so.
They do. But I would just, that's my personal opinion. You're right. Yes.
It lasts longer if you keep them out of light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The plastic, with the plastic. Did you guys have some points?
I was saying water doesn't mildew as long as it's in a clean container, it's going to stay there.
Well, there's some leaching, and I don't understand the science behind this, but there's some leaching that happens with the plastic containers. And so you want to recycle that.